I've got a cool new item that I've equipped here. I don't know if you can see that. No, I can't see if you can see that. But it's, I think it's some eyes or something. Eyes, jewel-shaped eyes. It's from the Luxor, because I went to Las Vegas this week. I went to Las Vegas without doing any gambling. I think it's not the only time I've gone to Las Vegas and not gambled. Because, you're kitty, huh? Because I did actually, the first time I went to Las Vegas, I wasn't 21. I was like 18 or 19 or something, and I was so excited going to Las Vegas because I had been, playing, I'd gone to a casino a few times back home. Gone, gone card rooms and stuff, played some poker, some pai gow. Excited to go to Vegas, and then I saw that in Vegas the gambling age is 21, so I didn't get to do any gambling that trip. But I did see Blue Man Group, and this trip I also didn't do any gambling, even though I could have. And I also saw Blue Man Group. What is it about Blue Man Group that makes people not want to gamble? Something like that. Although I did actually, I went to the arcade in the Excalibur, and I think technically this does count as gambling because I spent probably a good $60 playing Coin Pusher, the various Coin Pusher games that they have there. These are my favorite games at the Redemption arcades, where, like, the first ones that I saw were at Dave & Buster's, where there's this ledge of coins, there's this rack that sort of slides back and forth, and you drop coins in the slot, they pile down next to it, it pushes them off the ledge, and then there's a ledge below that, and if they push off into the bottom thing, then you win. You win tickets or whatever that you can use to go buy Tootsie Rolls and Spider Rings at the Redemption counter. And they have gotten so much more advanced since then, because now they have SpongeBob ones, where there's no coins, actually. I think maybe they had to come up with this because no one uses coins at arcades anymore. You just tag your little card. But what happens is it shoots like a ball, it goes off the slide, it jumps off the slide, it goes in SpongeBob's mouth or something, and then if you land it in the mouth, then a coin drops down this little thing inside. It's a coin that you never get to touch. The coins like live inside the machine. And sometimes you do things and it spits out bonus coins. There's so many more ways to play basically the same game. And it's basically gambling, really. The only skill in it is knowing what the right time is to push the button. But I figured that out pretty quick. And after playing that for probably a lot longer than I would care to admit, I managed to win a Super Mario figurine, probably about that big, and like 10 Tootsie Rolls and some other candy. My wife got she won like a plush thing out of some claw machine. She's pretty good with the claw machines. Which frankly I think was a much better investment than what I did, but I got to feel like I was doing something. Plus, she played plenty of Coin Pusher too. We're both big fans of Coin Pusher. I really had to... It made me think about how I was spending my time and money at Dave & Buster's, because we would go to Dave & Buster's kind of regularly, and all we would ever do is play Coin Pusher. You know, the prospect of going to an arcade was a lot cooler before arcades turned into nothing but redemption games. Like, all they have at arcades now, and maybe this is just the economics of running an arcade, they just want to get people into gamble, because it seems like anytime I go to a large arcade, all it is redemption games. And they have, I mean, they're very big, like, I guess that's also why they're in arcades, because these are the games that you need to go to an arcade to play. You're not going to have your whole Wheel of Fortune machine at home. But, you know, all it is it's gambling for kids, really. What was I doing there? I, recently came back from Las Vegas, as I've been regaling us all with stories thereof. They have a giant dome there. And apparently, you know, so I was there till, like, Wednesday, I think. And, like, almost immediately when I left, they started having terrible weather and flash floods and stuff, which I guess could have something to do with the hurricane that is affecting the bottom left corner of the US, but I like to think it's because I'm a load-bearing tourist, And whenever I'm not somewhere, that place falls apart. That's why LA is such a mess right now. And the Bay Area. Well, ooh, that's why the Bay Area has been such a mess in so many ways for so long, because I left there. But saw Blue Man Group, that was fun. Sat through a timeshare presentation. That was... It was maybe less fun than the ones that I remember. I did one of these like 12 years ago, too. This one seemed a bit higher pressure. It was more one-on-one, I think. But they had this fine little visitor center / sales trap where they had like stuff up on all the walls. We got to watch a little movie. And really, I was this close. I was this close. Probably not that close, but you know, I was getting there. I almost considered buying a timeshare, and then they told me how much it would cost. You know, I asked 2 times earlier in the presentation, this all seems great, but how much does it cost? What's the price? And he's like, we will get to that at the end. So at the end, they showed me the price. And this is after. So, okay. So I had done one of these before. The whole point of the timeshare presentation is to get you to buy this thing that is basically, it's a terrible deal, as anyone on the internet will tell you, but they make it seem like it's a good deal, where you're paying to go on these. It's basically like almost like reserving hotel rooms for years in advance, except they can sort of be anywhere, but it's kind of a pain to use them anywhere, and there's all these extra fees. So kind of a scam, but it's basically you're paying a lot to get hotel rooms in all these different places, and the way they try and sell it to you at both these presentations I've been to has been to ask you all these questions to try and figure out how much you're spending on vacations now and pump that number up as much as they can, and then show you how much it would cost to take all these vacations you could be taking if you bought the timeshare. And of course, you won't take that many vacations, and of course, that's not the full price that they tell you. But it seems good on paper. I remember it looking good on paper the last time I did one of these. This time, I was totally surprised by how bad it looked, even in his telling of it. Like, came up with all these numbers like, you could be spending $55,000 on vacations in the next 10, 20 years. Look at that. If you buy this timeshare, it could be yours for the price of only $50,000. Like, I'm going to lock myself into this lifetime contract to save 10% and only go to these places. Plus there's $2,000 fee every year. So I'm really spending $60,000 to get what I could theoretically be getting for $55,000 if I was taking anywhere near this many vacations, which I'm not. What a terrible idea. And so I told them this. I'm like, you know, it seemed like a good idea at first, but I'm not, why would I pay this much? Even if it was $50,000, I wouldn't lock myself into this just to save 10%. And he's like, well, hey, no problem. You can get half as much for half the price. That's still not a better deal. It's the same deal. They were not prepared for me there. Oh, the other thing they did, he's counting off the number of properties that I can use these points at. And he's like, well, we got these 41 hotels or whatever. And he shows me these numbers that add up to not 41. It add up to like 37. I'm like, doesn't that add up to 37? He says, you're the first person to notice that. I've been doing this for months. He only wants to sell to the gullible. Well, I'm insulted that they thought that I would be one of those people. Oh. So, okay, so he called me sir throughout the whole thing, which is, you know, it's what I expect. Obviously, I was there boymoding, and I looked like a sir, and so he's calling me sir throughout the whole thing. But then he gets to the end of it, and he's like running our IDs and stuff for some reason that they never did tell us. And he comes back and he's like, oh, you know, look at all this. They got all this information wrong. It said you're male and now you're female, and then he goes on calling me sir. Like, why bring that up even if he's just gonna plow ahead? Whatever. It is what it is. In fact, I packed all my stuff and I boymoded the whole trip, but my wife certainly appreciated me bringing things like the purse. We had a fun little conversation about that. Who gets to wear the purse in this family? I am. I just came back from Las Vegas a few days ago. I went to Las Vegas last Sunday through Wednesday. And as soon as I left, they started having flash floods and all kinds of shit, so I maybe I should have stayed there and helped him out with that. Apparently I was a load-bearing tourist, but I was really just there to sit through a timeshare scam. They gave me $400 cash and 3 nights in a hotel just for going there and listening to their sales pitch, because they thought I was some kind of chump who's going to buy a timeshare. They didn't know who they were dealing with. I walked in that door and I'm like, don't you know who I am? I'm the internet's Terradino fucking C. And they're like, we don't have a Terradino fucking C on the list? And I'm like, that's an outrage, let me see that list. And I'm like, oh no, it's this one right here, Terra. But, you know, I had an iron will and I managed to escape without buying a timeshare, just like I did the last time I did one of these. So many years ago. Didn't do any gambling in Las Vegas, but well, unless you count Coin Pusher at the arcade at the Excalibur, which you absolutely should, because it cost me something like $60 to get a handful of Tootsie Rolls and a Mario Kart figurine. But the important thing is I had fun for probably about 2 hours rolling coins down a chute and trying to get them in SpongeBob's mouth, and then trying to make them push other things off a ledge. Really, the one element of skill in Coin Pusher is timing the drop correctly. Like, because there's only one control, especially on these ones. And it seems like the right time to drop it is always when the ledge is as far in as it's going to go, because you want the coin to land when it's all the way out, so it lands on the clear space, so it can push stuff off. If the coin lands when it's in, it lands on top of other coins. It makes no difference. At least I had some fun. I did have fun. I saw the Blue Man Group also, and the most interesting thing actually turned out to be it's called Omega Mart. It is an art installation experience thing put on by a group called Meow Wolf, and there's like 4 of these around the country, I think. This one is in a place called Area 15 in Las Vegas, and it's a grocery store that you can actually buy some of the stuff in, but a lot of it is like this weird fake stuff. And then there's this whole like sort of secret area, except it's what you're supposed to find, where there's this whole weird like story to figure out from looking at all these clues everywhere. It's like an escape room, except there's no room. You're not trying to escape. There's just like you're discovering this story. And there's a lot of cool stuff to look at, and you know, videos to watch on their little screens. And if I had paid another $3, hi, it's loud. Who are you? Oh, Flicks. Okay, hi. I'm gonna mute you because you got a lot of noise in your place. So what was I saying? The story. So you go back, you look at the story, and for $3 you can get this like extra thing, this like a card that you boop on all these machines. They call it booping, and it like unlocks all these extra story parts and maybe some puzzle parts. I knew nothing about this thing before that morning. I saw an ad on Facebook of all places. And I'm like, hey, Las Vegas, I'm in Las Vegas. How did they know? And this thing looks cool. It just looked weird. I thought it might be a fake ad or something, but, you know, it was interesting. I knew virtually nothing about it by the time I got there, except that it was a cool kind of puzzle art thing. And we ended up getting there at like 10 o'clock. They close at midnight. So I got there at about 10 o'clock after whatever else we did. I don't know what else we did. Blue Man Group. Going around Las Vegas. Oh, went to the Luxor gift shop where I got this. But we got there at 10 o'clock, and really, had I known what it would be, I would have gone there in the morning and spent like a lot longer there, because there is way more stuff than we had time to investigate. And I think the $3 add-on thing would have been worth it at that time. It adds like 3 hours of sort of playtime gameplay, they said. Which I could believe. I mean, there's a shitload of stuff there, and even to see without the add-on, I would recommend it to anyone who happens to be near Las Vegas. But I guess they have others in other places that are also worth seeing. This week was Las Vegas. Last week I went to LA, and San Francisco. And then as soon as I left those places, they started having all kinds of crazy weather too. I really just never need to leave anywhere. Bad things happen as soon as I leave. Everywhere I go, it's like one of those scenes in a movie where someone walks away from an explosion and they look really cool. Because I always look really cool. And then things always explode behind me because I'm not there anymore to stop that from happening. Except this time it was a hurricane. Hurricane in California. I've never heard of that. I lived in California for so many years. Never heard of that. We are living in the end times, folks. Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria. Maybe next time I can fully explore it. Well, I did look up a couple spoilers online because I figured when's the next time I'm going to go to Las Vegas? Am I going to remember this? But what that means is this time I know where the secret bar is, so if I go there again, I'll be able to get a drink this time. That next time. We tried to go to the buffet at Caesar's Palace because, you know, we didn't really have any plans for what we're going to do in Las Vegas other than not buy a timeshare. So we had to decide one time, we're like, hey, I hear Caesar's has a good buffet. We went there, and it was very confusing, because there's like check-in lines for reservations, and we couldn't find even how you made a reservation. And then we later learned that it books out months in advance. So we're probably a little too late. But also, it's gotta be a hell of a buffet if it's booking out months in advance. Which sort of makes me want to see it more, like what could possibly make a buffet this good? But also makes me want to see it less, because I really want to book months in advance just to shovel my own food onto a plate? I can do that for free here. It's just not the same food, but the shoveling is the part that makes it a buffet, right? I can't start this, because I think the person who put the blue glow in's got to start it, right? Which means... What, are we building? I hope it's not glitched. But the thing I don't like about buffets... Like, if it was just shoveling your own food, then that would be one thing. You know, I've gone to, like, the Chinese buffet. I used to go to the Chinese buffet all the time, actually. Where they just have, like, it's like a cafeteria, and you just sort of go to the stations and you shovel whatever you want on your plate. What I don't like about these higher-end buffets is the stations where they have people standing there, and you have to talk to the people to get your food. Like, if I'm gonna have to talk to people, why not just have a waiter, and then I only have to talk to one person? I don't want to have to meet a bunch of strangers just to ultimately still be shoveling my own food. I hate having to go up to someone and be like, and like beg for, like, point to things and be like, can I have that one? I don't like the way you slice that one. Can I have a different one, please? That's the thing, you know, giving people, like, you're basically giving people live feedback to their face about how they cut food. Like, they're the professional. What right do I even have to criticize the way they're doing it? Except I'm in the position where, like, No one else is going to do it, and I'm supposed to be picking the one, supposed to be customizing the experience for myself, but what that really means is I'm criticizing the way people are cutting food right in front of me. It's way too social anxiety inducing, this buffet system. But apparently that's what people want because it books out months in advance. So what do I know?